All right. So, again, thank you, Wayne, for joining me today. So, for those who don't know Wayne Rodrigues is a cybersecurity architect, and he has a decade of experience designing and implementing secure systems across enterprise environments. So, again, you're currently a senior security architect, and your career has spanned technical engineering, governance, and architecture. You have contributed to maturing security postures within complex organizations, leading efforts in secure architecture, cloud security, and threat management. And you're an advocate for knowledge sharing and mentorship. So thank you so much for that. I work for DUCA. And so that's the Deakin University Cybersecurity Association. And this was also just something that I found wasn't available at the moment. We do a lot of in-person events. And so being able to bring those in-person events online so that people can still ask questions to the wonderful leaders that we have in this industry and get answers that they're looking for, I think is really important. So thank you again for joining me this morning. And I suppose we'll just start looking at your background. So your journey has taken you from engineering and analyst roles into strategic security architecture. What was that first thing that drew you from those roles into cybersecurity?
Thank you, Paige. Lovely to be here. I think it's a great initiative. So in terms of what drew me to cybersecurity, I always knew that I wanted to do something in the tech space. Initially, I was leaning towards software engineering and building systems. Then as I got a bit more hands-on and worked through the journey, I realized that the cybersecurity area is something that has a serious skills shortage. And often as software engineers, it's very tempting to just take the easy route and configure things insecurely. So I definitely wanted to uplift that area and saw the definite need. Definitely it was an interesting area, and it seemed to grow as a passion of mine, and hence I dived straight into it.
That's such an interesting point that you said that a lot of software engineers don't think of security off the bat. And often our students are very aware of that. And so it's really great having your perspective come in, because it just goes to show that you kind of can't sit on that 20-year-old, Python, C++, C# knowledge anymore. You have to be a bit proactive and actually implement the systems securely from the get-go. Following up from that, how would you say that those earlier roles have helped shape your approach to secure architecture today?
Yeah, so I did get an opportunity to get hands-on experience in those early roles like analysts, engineers, and so on in various domains. That was really able to solidify my foundations, so really understand what can go wrong, both in terms of threats to a solution as well as potential pitfalls when I'm developing or engineering a solution. So getting that baseline hands-on experience and getting to trial various domains gave me that really solid foundation, which then helped me to move up and understand what can we do in terms of our strategic roadmap and do things in the future and look at the bigger picture.
I guess that's such an important skill, having that long-term perspective over things as well. Speaking of other skills, what do you think were some of the skills that you developed the most out of the challenges that you faced, either early or right now? So how did you overcome those challenges with the skills that you were able to develop in this role?
One of the biggest challenges I faced previously was imposter syndrome, and it's something that I feel will be there at each level as you try to upskill and move up and try to take on your next journey. So that challenge will always be there, but particularly for the early days when I'm completely new into cyber, I would feel surrounded by seasoned experts who had 10, 20 years of experience in the whole IT industry and the cybersecurity industry. And when I was providing my cybersecurity advice, I felt like I had to know every single little technical aspect and detail. Otherwise, all these seasoned experts would pick apart my advice. And there was lots of information for me to learn, new information, technical jargon, and speed, and I had to absorb that really quickly and then be able to act. So thinking on the fly and being able to really absorb things, research things in my own time. So the way I overcame those was just that constant research, then just understanding that continuous learning is crucial as well. So it never stops at each stage. And getting out of my comfort zone, just going out there proactively seeking feedback, advice, peer reviews, and coming from that space of learning and a growth mindset, where in some cases I might have to be humble and approach the topic as a discussion, as a collaborative approach, where I say, hey, how can we address this problem? Or then I would go to those technical SMEs and ask them, hey, as the subject matter expert, what would you recommend? What are some things that you see as pitfalls, either in cybersecurity domain or in the thing that you're trying to configure? And then up to a reasonable degree, the imposter syndrome can be used to fuel your growth, but then after a certain point, it has diminishing returns, and you just keep asking yourself. So then at that point, you've done everything. You just reassure yourself that, yes, I have done everything. I've reasonably approached the situation, and then in some cases, you would also reassure yourself that your people leader or the management that have your back, or even your peers have that mechanism and peer review kind of thing in place.
Yeah, absolutely. I've found even just in my studies, you just have to not be scared to ask silly questions, because I think that it shows that at least you're interested enough to know more. And I think that that's sort of a good reputation to have is, Paige or Wayne, they always ask really interesting questions, and it's always fun being able to answer some curly questions every now and then.
Definitely. And sometimes I think rather than providing the most advanced advice, if you can just position yourself as someone who asks really good questions,
yes,
you will automatically be seen as like the trusted advisor, and people will automatically come to you for questions, and then automatically in the background you will increase your knowledge and then be able to give those really advanced solutions and advice.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know that you're very passionate about mentorship and knowledge sharing. Have these experiences, both in your past jobs and your current job, shaped your own growth and leadership style and bringing that to our students at Deakin, to other students, or just newcomers in general in the industry?
So mentorship has been something personal to me, where I feel I was fortunate enough to get good mentors in my past and present as well. So just imagine you're stumbling your way through the dark in a maze. So to me, having mentors someone who is able to shine light and guide you through that path, because they've been through that path before. Or they can easily be able to look ahead and see any pitfalls that you might be oblivious to. For me, as I mentioned, I was fortunate to have good mentors. They were able to identify my strengths, believe in me, and then also provide impactful guidance tailored to me, saying that, hey, I think your strength is in this. If you take advantage of that, you can really excel and grow in this area. So I would definitely love to provide that same level of support and guidance to the future leaders as well. It just gives me lots of joy just being able to support.
It's really symbiotic in that way. I think it's valuable for the mentee and also the mentor. I think mentees don't see that side of it. It's actually a valuable experience for the mentor as well. I think as someone who has been a part of the AWSN mentoring program, before getting into a program like that, I had that misconception that it almost felt like you were leeching off of someone else in a way. It's like, give me all your knowledge, give me all your insights. But it's actually a really valuable experience for the mentor as well. And I always say this to all the students that I speak to: it only takes one conversation to change your trajectory. It just takes one connection request, one LinkedIn request to change that. And I think that in this industry, everyone is so open to sharing knowledge and mentoring that it only takes that one action to change everything. And everyone is open to mentoring in this industry. So just do it. Just get out there and just send the message. Just send LinkedIn message.
Yes, definitely. And maybe if I can inspire someone, fairly recently, I had reached out to someone all the way across the globe.
Wow.
In the European region, and personally, I was really inspired by this person. They kept having a great presence, and they were posting online and had shown great leadership and architectural thought leadership.
Mm-hmm.
And I just reached out to them and said, hey, I really admire your work. Is there any way that we can connect and I can get some of your guidance and we can share ideas? And this person was very receptive. And
that's awesome.
You are able to make that connection. And yes, as you mentioned, the people in the industry are very open and receptive to having that mutual connection.
Yeah, it's really amazing. And that's why I'm so glad that I got into this industry, especially just cybersecurity as a niche, because everyone knows that we need to support each other. So it's really amazing. Speaking of misconceptions, what do you think are some misconceptions that you had when you started working in security architecture?
A general misconception overall in the cybersecurity space is quite often stakeholders assume that a security professional's role is just to say yes or no to something that's being reviewed. It has been a persistent misconception through various levels and positions that I've been in. And I think it's just something that you really need to get your head around and just understand and be able to consistently communicate to the stakeholders. So while in fact our role is to act as a trusted advisor and be a business enabler, so we as subject matter experts in the cybersecurity area, we convey the business risk to the stakeholders, and then it's up to them whether they want to take on that risk. So essentially they are the ones that are saying yes or no.
Yeah.
Guiding them in a way to do it securely.
I think that there's a lot of those sorts of misconceptions just around stakeholders and sort of how that communication process works. A lot of security professionals wear a lot of hats, whether they want to or not. But I definitely think that even just IT people in general, they wear a lot of hats, which is really great for growth because it means that you get all of this diverse experience. But yeah, I think converting that technical skill or that technical knowledge into something that, most shareholders and stakeholders can understand is such an important skill. What do you think are some other critical skills that a security architect student might want or need when they're entering the field?
I definitely always just say that soft skills are 100% required. So all the various soft skills, negotiation, communication, stakeholder management. I think at that level, when you get into the architectural and strategic space, it's more about having an impact and being able to influence and communicate with the stakeholders rather than the purely technical knowledge. So at that level, you do have experts that you can reach out to who know and are specialized in that field, and you shouldn't feel like you have the need to go down to very technical detail.
Yes.
At that level, you should be able to be that trusted advisor, as I said. So you need to be able to build trust fast with whoever you're talking to.
Yeah.
You need to showcase that you are credible and that you are understanding, hearing their needs and their requirements. And only then you can play that effective role as that advisor, so then they can keep coming to you and asking for that guidance.
Yeah.
So definitely 100% the soft skills
Yeah.
are really critical.
I think I love that relationship though between technical and soft skills, because a lot of the people coming into IT and cyber, they are quite reserved, quite introverted. So, and I think that's where sort of, initiatives like this and just community engagement is important for those types of people, because it sort of gets them starting to develop those skills in uni before they go into the workforce. So yeah, I think that's really important. I love talking to people about soft skills because I come from a marketing background. So I'm like, yes, I know all of the ways that brands love to talk to their audience. So soft skills are definitely the number one, I think. What would you say is an area of enterprise security or architecture that you think is undervalued today, but you think will become essential in our future of the industry?
I think something which will be essential in the near future would be data risk management, especially with systems getting more and more connected, and definitely as the rise of AI demand increases. With the given rise of AI, lots of people are scrambling to think about how we can protect it. But a fundamental concept is that if you can protect your data, the data going into your AI systems would then sort of automatically be protected.
Yeah.
If you think of that data-centric view. So if you shift to that data-centric view, your controls would be attached to the data itself. So robust data classification, access controls, encryption, lifecycle management. If you focus on that, then you don't have to spend too much of effort configuring and securing the overlaying systems of the AI and different systems getting integrated together.
Yep. So do all the hard yards first, then you don't have to think about it.
Concepts.
Yep. That's how I like to do it. Obviously, we're a university group, so I work with my university group. Would you influence or change how cybersecurity is taught and introduced at university?
It's a great question, Paige. And I think it's a bit of a challenging situation that the universities are in. So, on one hand, the reason I say that is because it's important to make sure that the fundamentals are covered for the students, and for their benefit, it is also important to cover a broad range of areas in case they may not be able to specialize in a domain early. So that's where I saw the benefit of a broad computer science degree. So in my personal journey, I initially tried to specialize in software engineering, but I found that a little bit challenging in terms of jobs available and future growth, whereas the cybersecurity industry definitely had lots of demand and skill shortage. So having that breadth does allow you room to change and transition. And also, as I mentioned, it's important to have like a foundational knowledge and understanding. So when you are going into an actual workplace, you know your fundamentals of IT, of networking in general, rather than just being theoretical cybersecurity knowledge of threats and so on.
Yeah.
So it is an interesting challenge which universities are faced with. Something which may possibly add value would be having those internships and grad programs, and particularly having a bit more hands-on lab experience in those areas. I believe all this is already incorporated to some degree, but not sure to what level. But employers definitely value hands-on experience in some way over theoretical education. So wherever possible, it would be good to give the students hands-on access to those tools that people would use in the day-to-day careers of an actual job.
Yeah, well, from the university side of things, I think after COVID, a lot of students have become very comfortable with doing things online. So we do have, infrastructure and computer labs. I just don't think that they're quite being used to the extent that perhaps would benefit them a lot more. So I know that we're transitioning into get everyone back on campus initiative at the moment. I think that that's fantastic. I'm like you. I think that having that hands-on experience in a lab where you can mess things up a little bit and you just log out and it's all fine. I think that that's really good. Definitely a lot better than just doing it on your home lab. It's not your internet that might have a worm crawling throughout it. But yeah, I definitely think I definitely agree with that just that hands-on in person, with your teacher going through stuff. I just think that's so important, having that shadowing over you whilst you're doing everything. Speaking of university students, so say I'm starting out, I'm getting my, I'm wanting to get into trimester 2 this year, super excited, want to get into security architecture when I graduate. What would you recommend for that student to do now and perhaps in their first and second year to really build a strong foundation in security architecture?
Okay, amazing. It's really good to have that feature looking inside. So architecture is typically a fairly senior role, so you would usually start off as an analyst in a domain or an engineer. Then once you have that understanding and that experience, then maybe about 7-ish years or so, you would then look to moving into architecture. It is a fairly senior role, but while you're on your journey, you can already start now by focusing on mastering the fundamentals first of IT networking in general. And you can either pick a domain or you can specialize or you can keep it broad. And what I mean by that is you can look at networking, web applications, software engineering, any particular domain, or you can skip it general, but you just want to have that foundational understanding mastered, because you can't secure what you don't fully understand.
Yeah.
Then as you're doing that, as you continue your journey, just start thinking like an architect, look at the bigger picture, focus on what's happening and focus on the why. So why is this happening? Why are we doing this? Why is the technical business wanting to do it this way? Why shouldn't we do it this way? Because of security reasons. Just understanding that why, and then that will help you enable the business to operate securely. So when you are in an architecture role, you're able to properly explain to them why we do things a certain way and not just say yes or no. And you can walk them through the journey as well.
Yeah. It's really making you realize just how critical this role is to a business. I know we mentioned just in our emails in the past how it's often quite an overlooked role. In cybersecurity, all these students, they want to be pen testers, they want to be cybersec analysts. I think it's so great to get insight in a role that actually has really unique value add to a business. I really hope that other students realize, I didn't know this role existed. That is really cool. I actually really want to get into that. Moving on from that, is there something that you think students often overlook that could really help them grow when they're doing their studies?
I think the benefit of the networking which they do in that third year, they can always definitely start early in the first and second year itself. So the two things I would recommend would be mentorship and also networking in terms of joining professional organizations. You mentioned AWS, and there's heaps more. Find a niche, find which group appeals to you, and attend those sessions. They have professional development sessions, they have networking sessions. Attend those, get knowledge, network with people, ask them questions in terms of how do they operate in their role, what compared to their role, any challenges they're facing, and you might also get really good insights from them in terms of what trends are they seeing in the industry, in terms of job market area, and they'll be able to tell you what areas are growing in terms of job demand as well. And just getting all that information early on allows you to put yourself in a better position to plan ahead.
Absolutely. And I think planning ahead, I've been trying to plan ahead since my first year, and that's sort of why we made DUCA, is as a way to get people to think about things way earlier than they think they need to. And yeah, engaging in organizations, ASA, ISACA, AWSN, all the acronyms that you have in the world, is really important. Well, we're almost finished up here, so I'm going to ask you just one last question that I like asking all of my interviewers. If you could give one piece of advice to your younger self at the start of your career, what would that piece of advice be?
Wonderful question, Paige. I would say don't be afraid to make mistakes, and the sooner the better. While you're in your early career, everyone will be very forgiving, and you can always ask all those questions right up there. No one will look down on you, no one will question you. Adopt that growth mindset, and that's how you learn. In software engineering, I believe you try to fail fast so that you can learn and work in that agile fashion. It's the same way as well. So just expand your area of comfort, your comfort zone, and learn as much as you can.
Yeah, that's awesome. I hope that students sort of don't feel like they can't make mistakes, because you're in the perfect spot. You can make mistakes and the risks aren't that high. So make all the mistakes that you can, and then you'll be golden by the time that you're actually in that full-time role. So yeah, love that advice. I'm definitely going to take that on myself, because I'm only in my second year. So it's definitely helps drive and sort of keep that focus as things get a little bit later in the degree. Well, that is all of my questions. I know we're at time now, so I just wanted to say, Wayne, thank you so much for joining me here today. I have personally gained so much value out of asking you these questions. It's so fascinating to hear the perspectives of different security professionals, and I just know for a fact that all those listening will feel the same as I do. So on behalf of myself, DUCA, and just the entire cohort, thank you so much for joining me today.